Market news now. The sell-off in Asian markets extended to Wednesday, with investors fearing an escalation in the US-China trade war after Beijing said it planned to impose anti-dumping sanctions with billions on Washington. The Japanese indices followed Wall Street to rise marginally at the open but quickly dropped back into negative territory. The news adds to a sense of pessimism across trading floors in recent weeks as the world's top two economic powers stand on the cusp of an all-out trade war that observers fear could batter the global economy. Tokyo's Nikkei slid 0.3%, the Hang Seng Index fell 0.4%, while the Shanghai Composite Index was also in the red, falling 0.3% to 2,656. US stocks rose on Tuesday as Apple led a jump in technology shares, and a gain of more than 2% in oil prices drove up energy shares. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained almost 0.5%, with the S&P 500 rising 1/3%. The Nasdaq Composite Index added over 0.5% to 7,969. For more on the markets, we cross to Arabile Gomede. He's standing by at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Good afternoon, Arabile. Over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Nzinga. Well, one would have hoped for some positive impetus coming through from the United States yesterday, which was all in the green, as you noted there. But Asia this morning, all in red. So that pushed the local index as well a little bit lower. It's around 0.1% lower as well. And Europe, however, doing pretty well despite everything that's going on around the world. So here's a distinct look at how the local and international markets are trading. Tell there are a lot of negativity across the board, and let's unpack all of that now. Maudi Linzwana from Lehomo Capital joining me now as we unpack the market movement. Maudi, thank you so much for your time. I suppose the negativity here may stem from the fact that not so long ago we had a big rally for around 9 days. Market perhaps coming back somewhat?
Yeah, look, the volatility you continue we will always continue to experience it. I think in between those trading days, there will be days where we have a good run, and then as you begin to hear about those trade talks once again, the whole trade war emerging again, that's going to really unsettle the markets, and that's what we're seeing here. We are seeing some parts in certain areas where we're beginning to see a bit of a recovery. For example, when you look at the resources sector, is currently doing very well, just over 1%. But other sectors are really continuing to focus on what is happening with the South African economy. The fact that we've got a situation where our economy is just not looking good. You take a look at the numbers that we've just had, the confidence numbers that just came out. It really puts us in a very difficult position and puts our market in a very difficult situation as well.
It seems that the economy itself now is playing some sort of part into the local market as well. As you said, the SABC number coming in, a drop of around 4.2 index points. Still not at the lowest, fine, but it certainly echoes the sentiments we got yesterday from the RMBB, our Business Confidence Index as well. How businesses are reacting to the current situation in the country is certainly hurtful.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, if you cannot have these business being confident about the future of our economy, we're certainly not going to see much traction. You're going to see the pressure that we continue to see until such time that there is a clear picture about the future. And hopefully the Minister of Finance can really deliver some sort of good news for South Africans, because I think at this stage, pressure is just piling up. And it's not just obviously the South African phenomenon, but I mean, it's the entire story of the emerging markets who are just caught up in a very, very peculiar position about where we are. The developed countries are looking to increase interest rates, in particular the US, and we caught in a situation where we haven't done anything over the past 10 years when the money was still cheap. We were not really preparing for the eventuality, which is at some point that cheap money is going to go out of the window.
Yeah. Another thing that has supposedly come out in terms of economic data, retail sales going up by 1.3% year on year. yes, it's an uptick, but it sort of echoes the sentiment of the local retailers as well, right? The likes of ShopRite not doing so well, and that showed in their numbers. Look,
it's still in the single digit, Arabile. I mean, it's 1.3%. It's really nothing to drive home about. If you compare it just with the 2017, which I think the South African consumers were much more resilient to the negatives that we experienced in 2017. The numbers were still, just around 4%, 5%. Right now, we're sitting for the whole of 2018. I think we haven't gone above 2% on the retail sales number. So it tells you just how much the consumer is under so much pressure. There's just simply no, money for them left to really spend. I mean, all the VAT increases, all the difficulties that we experience, there's just no money to spend, into the retail space.
Where does one look then for a sense of positivity? It's so easy to be negative at this point because everything points to that. Where do you try to find the positivity?
Look, the positivities are certainly very difficult to find, and I think we are lucky that the Moody's is still talking, a wait and see kind of a game, because that could easily turn quite negative if we do not take some decisive actions. And I'm hoping that the Minister of Finance will be able to just shed some light. Revenue is going to be a miss. So many other things are going to be a miss. And what strategy or what plan do they have to turn this economy around?
Yeah. That's going to be a very tough one. But very finally as well, let's talk about the rand. 15 rand, 9 cents for now against the US dollar. That is perhaps something that we're all supposedly shocked about. It should be below 14, surely.
No, certainly. So now we've found almost like a base around just above 15, and that's not a good level to be talking about a base. And I think that's almost like the base for the time being. If we get some negativities with the trade war, we could very well get back to the highs that we reached quite recently. There's also a number of issues such as the Fed, whom I'm hoping that they will continue to maintain these moderate kind of pace, because if they also move into an aggressive pace, we could actually continue to see the flight of capital out of emerging market countries. So for the time being, I think with the rand, we should be around the 15 rand level. But for how long, it's really just anyone's guess.
Yeah. Maudie Lenzwane, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it there. Quick look at that market. As I said, a whole lot of red certainly coming through from it. Even today as well, just over 0.1% down as well for the all share. The rand doing better, still above that 15 rand mark. Where do we go from here? That's perhaps the question. We will continue to look out at the market and give you an update on that as much as we can. For now, however, that's where the buck stops. Nompumelelo and Nzinga joining you right after this. Do stay tuned.